that he forgot to, that he did overlook that. I think that's quite possible.
Well, you being a member of the Green Party, apparently you're a lot more loving than I am over this.
No,
I don't think you forget a trip to the islands in a Air King 200, flying around in a private helicopter, staying in a luxury villa.
I understand that, but if you're friends with somebody for that long, I do think it's certainly possible that you would overlook that. However, the public does have the right to know about that and should know about that.
I'll take it a step further in what you just said. The very fact that you are close personal friends with someone means that you should be extra careful in what you do, not lax in what you do.
That's true.
You might have a problem in the I will tell you right now that if I would have contacted the ethics department and I would have seen that his form was filled out in 2005, that he made a trip to that island, I'd think a lot more of him than I do today. But it appears to me that it wasn't a slip-up. Especially when you look at, ladies and gentlemen, you got to look at the time frame here. Make a trip in 05. The discussions begin about buying and pulling property in 06 from the very emails that we've talked about on this show. And when it gets heightened again, the discussion, Ms. Anderson has been to the islands, apparently, the best we can tell. And Dick Baker, who's a member of the board, has been to the islands. You know, well,
I will, and again, take the devil's advocate here. I think if you've been friends with somebody for 20 or 30 years, a trip to the island is probably not going to change the character of that friendship one way or the other. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But the public does have the right to know about that trip. That's what it comes down to.
Now, I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I can appreciate, you know, hey, he got out there and said he was wrong. Okay.
I think what I get out of this is, because there are close friendships between people who are elected officials and people who are perhaps benefiting from those decisions, I think it just outlines how important it is for the public to oversee, pay attention, go to meetings, request information, and just keep an eye on this stuff, just so that our interests are as represented as somebody's friend who has their own private island. Well, the Caribbean's interests are represented. Let's put it that way.
You know what? One thing that I've said before, and I'll say it again. That this is my belief. As an elected official, if you treat the 96-year-old widow woman on a fixed income any different than you treat a millionaire, I think you're heading in the wrong direction right there.
And I think the issue here is that he's not close friends with the 96-year-old widow. The 96-year-old widow is not benefiting directly from various decisions they've made, and so it's not as incumbent on us to make sure that we have all the records.
No, what I'm saying is, as an elected official. And our viewing audience knows exactly what I'm talking about. How is it that certain people get certain things from their government and other people can't even get a hearing? You know, for goodness sakes, I had to wade into a town hall meeting and get a microphone to get the attention of the governor and all of what we're talking about.
Yes, you did.
The average citizen, there's no way in the world they're gonna do that.
That's true.
I do not believe that anyone should be treated any different, to the best of your ability, when you're an elected official. The millionaire, the middle incomer, the poor person, the widow, the married, the single, whatever it is, you should view it as everything in this county belongs to the taxpayers. It belongs to all of us, and we need to take great care that we exercise even-handedness across the board.
Well, and I think, as you mentioned before, I think because somebody who's a close friend does have that access, you do need to make sure that those gift forms and all that ethics stuff is carried through correctly.
Absolutely.
Because the public have a right to know.
Yeah, well, you know how hard and I've watched a couple times when a citizen stepped forward and said to a commissioner, you know, you've got some close ties there. I think you should recuse yourself from this vote. And typically, our previous elected officials were a little bad about throwing a fit when somebody even suggested that.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to tell you right now. You know, it's no sin. There's nothing wrong as an elected official of saying, well, you know what, I really do have a close personal relationship, and I don't want to have even the appearance of any kind of collusion here, so I'm going to recuse myself from this vote, and that is why, and I hope y'all respect me for it. How hard is that? The people that you know, I think, are going to respect you for that, because if they're truly your friend, they will respect you for that. And certainly the citizens at large will be ecstatic that you have actually taken a moral stance, and you're concerned that your vote may cloud the water here. You know, they should be tickled.
And of course, Commissioner Goodin has said that he doesn't believe that it made a difference on that vote.
Well,
that his friendship didn't play
and that is certainly it's America is free. I will say this: he said that. The court of public opinion is the ones that's really going to decide that. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. He said it. We watched the words. It's on the tape. The taxpayers are going to have to decide whether or not they believe that. You know, that's just part of it. Well, Deborah, we're having a little, you know, some real interesting things going on here. And ladies and gentlemen, I know maybe you don't look at every newspaper, you know, but all of what is going on in Santa Rosa County has started to filter over.
Snowball.
Yeah, it's kind of filtering to our east and filtering to our west, and I found it very interesting. And this is Pensacola News Journal story. The county attorney for Escambia County she's kind of taken the position, and I actually had a conversation with her. You know, I don't agree with text messaging. I think it should be outlawed.
Between commissioners.
Between commissioners, it should be completely outlawed.
Right.
All use of private email should be outlawed. It should be in the law. It should be in the Sunshine Law. It says if you get caught using this, it's the governor can pump you.
It is public
and throw you out. But the attorney for Escambia County went before the board and said, "Look, I'm concerned about this, and I think we need to set a policy to." An internal policy that you're not going to use text messaging or private emails anymore. And as you, ladies and gentlemen, unless you've been under a rock, you've seen that there's been a big controversy over private email use in Escambia County also. Apparently Gene Valentino regarding a possible bingo establishment on Perdido has turned into a kind of a little situation over there. You know, I actually requested to the board, Escambia County Board, I requested all text messages from all 5 commissioners for the last 5 years. Of course, the response was, well, they're transitory in nature. The attorney was very firm on, she said that if they're discussing county issues through the text messaging, then it would be a violation of the Sunshine Law. Of course, my response to that is, Commissioner A sends a text message to Commissioner B and C to discuss the possibility of buying 90 acres of industrial property, and it never becomes public knowledge because text messages aren't kept. How am I, the citizen, going to know to say, hey, the sunshine's been violated here?
Right.
And I actually sent that request to Joanne Karen of the First Amendment Foundation, and got back some real interesting comments, and she very strongly said it is transitory, but if actions are taken because of that, and usually it's easy to see, then it is definitely a violation of the Sunshine Law.